Project Ascension, Chapter 13, by Darthlink and The Myth. Black was currently being dogpiled by Shining Armor, Applejack, and Rarity, who were trying to keep the sadist pinned. Get off! Black used his magic to push Shining, Applejack, and Rarity off of him, lifting all three ponies off. As they hit the floor hard, Black's magic ceased soon after. He stood up from the ground and dusted himself off, ruffling his new wings on his back. Now that's useful there. Shining groaned as he got up, helping Rarity and Applejack to their hooves and looking back at Black. I took care of your friend Blue back at the castle. I can take care of you as well. Surrender now or else! He shouted out to Black as he charged his magic. Black grinned at the words spoken to him. Typical from a captain, always thinking you can win. Well, nice knowing you. He said to Shining as he charged his horn too and jumped into the air. Black projectiles were being shot at the three ponies as they huddled together with Shining, who seemed to cast a shield just in time to stop the black projectiles from hurting them. What'll we do, y'all? Applejack asked as he started to panic for the attack, something that a pony did not see every day. Shining stood quiet with the shield held. I've got an idea, but it's a long shot, he said to the mares as he poured all of his concentration into his magic. Anything will suffice! Rarity shouted as her eyes started watering as she clutched herself to Shining for protection. Applejack, you got rope on you? Shining asked her with his eyes on Black. Applejack pulled out the length of rope with her mouth. Yup. Rarity, there should be a blue bottle in my bag where you're standing. Take what's in there and pour it all over the rope, okay? What? Rarity held her hoof in the bag and searched its contents before finding a bottle with a glowing blue liquid in it. Applejack, the rope, now! She ordered her friend to give her the rope, which she did. Rarity used her magic to open the bottle and pour the watery substance on the rope. The rope suddenly began to glow the same blue as what the substance did, and Rarity handed it to Applejack. Applejack, how fast are you on your hooves? Shining asked her as his magic began to waver under the pressure of Black projectiles. How can I outrun Angel Bunny? Who? Shining Armor asked curiously, just as a crack was forming on his magical shield. Never mind! Shining's shield began to glow brightly, and a surge of magic propelled from it. The magic shaped itself into a giant spear that flew straight for Black's levitated self. The magic he was casting stood no chance against the Colossus that showed no sign of slowing down. The magical spear did not pierce Black, and instead went through as he covered himself with his hoof and found new power. However, he suddenly felt numbness take hold of his body, ceasing his wing movements. He fell to the ground, emitting the sounds of bones breaking for the collision. Now, Applejack! Shining ordered Applejack to do as he requested. Applejack took hold of the rope and ran as fast as he could to Black, who was starting to recover from his fall. Applejack clenched her teeth as hard as she held the rope, doing a lasso as it traveled to a surprised Black. Once the rope was around him, she tugged at it hard, binding Black. Black tried to get out of the rope, but he realized his wings were not working, due to the fact of them being smashed thanks to the magical spear earlier. What startled him even more was his magic did not want to respond to his will. What did you do to me? He demanded to Shining Armor, as he saw the stallion with him with three of the mares. Wait until I get this fucking rope off of me, you little... He was silenced by Applejack, as he bucked him hard in the face, with a few of his teeth coming out of his mouth as he fell unconscious. My baby teeth. Plop. What horrible language to use in front of a lady, Rarity commented as she looked down on the fallen Black, as he raised her held high, releasing a hoof that was not noticed by the others. Well, it is safe to keep him like this, she asked Applejack. Applejack just sighed as he dusted her Stetson. He been knocked out cold, Sugar Cube. Ain't hearing none of us now, she said calmly as he placed her Stetson back on. Hurry yourself, Shannon. What was in that bottle you gave Rarity? Shining picked up the bottle and showed it to him. The bottle read, Magic Be Gone, and the mares looked at him with confused eyes. The princess often uses this for her pranks on unicorns. Works fine on alicorns too, apparently. He answered him bluntly as he stole the bottle away. They weren't out of the woods yet, as Shining saw his sister fighting Bloodwing. Let's go! A feet away, Twilight and Blaze were handling their final obstacle, the mastermind behind the whole mess. Normally, Twilight would be approaching a situation like this logically, calculate the best plan of attack. But Spike was beyond his mere pony, and seeing him suffer was causing her motherly instincts to override her more logical senses. Fortunately, this was balanced out by Blaze, who was keen on relieving years of hatred and aggression on his previous employer, and, with him being immune to the Mad Doctor's power, he had provided plenty of cover. "How annoying," Bloodwing muttered as he blocked another blast of fire. "This is becoming too bothersome." "So why don't you just give it up?" Twilight snarled. "You can't keep blocking us forever." The Pegasus rubbed his chin. "I suppose you're right." At that point, his wing reached out and picked up a scalpel. Twilight just about burst out laughing at such a weak weapon. Then the blade was lodged directly into his side. Blood flowed freely from his wound. Far more freely than it should have. Twilight tried to hold back the urge to vomit. Blaze widened his eyes. "No. You figured it out. I never thought you would." "No, Red." Bloodwing shook his head, sounding genuinely disappointed. "You should know now. I always figured everything out." He then mutilated his other side, allowing blood to flow. "What?" was all Twilight commanded. "Move! Move! Move!" Blaze yelled, moving to the side. A moment later, Twilight could see why. The blood flowing out of the mad pony suddenly lifted, like a gory whip, and lashed forward. Terrified, Twilight ducked just in time to avoid the weapon. It hit the wall, leaving a cut dripping of blood. "Hell!" "Oh, come now, Miss Sparkle," Bloodwing said. "You of all ponies should know nothing is impossible with the right resets." The blood triangles filtered into points and shot into a pair. Blaze dodged, but then fired 2 fireballs at his opponent. It was blocked easily, serving only to amuse Bloodwing. Twilight brought up a shield that blocked the other attack, then pushed her shield forward. It was not a move Bloodwing had predicted. He began to move, but was too slow, and only succeeded in getting knocked on his back. Twilight took advantage of this and charged forward, which is why she was easy to catch at Bloodwing's whip again. Bloodwing dragged Twilight over to him and levitated her up to face his muzzle. "I got you now, my pretty," he said as he smiled deviously at Twilight as he licked his lips. Twilight glared at Bloodwing with hateful eyes. She began to remember everything that had happened. From Scootaloo to being abducted, to the discovery of the first lab, the encounter with White, her battle with Blue. The last memory that came to her was that of Spike being taken from her and brought to this Celestia-forsaken place to be killed, all in the name of magic and science. She gritted her teeth as more rage began to flow into her. She closed her eyes and began to mumble words. Bloodwing looked at her with a grin. "What are you trying to say, my dear?" The words came out clearer, and her body began to glow slightly as an aurora engulfed her. "You will pay for this!" She yelled out, and her body began to burn brightly, turning herself into a living pyro and opening her eyes to reveal nothing but white. "What the Tartarus!" Charlie began to shout as he fought Bloodwing's hold, breaking free from the mad scientist's bond and landing on the floor as the flames bounced off of it. You broke away from my bloodhold! Impossible!" "Like you said," she began to speak in a whisper, "nothing is impossible with the right research." Bloodwing backed off and started to propel his blood toward her in the shape of small cannonballs. The blood did not reach her as it evaporated upon reaching the flames. For the first time Blaze had ever seen, Bloodwing looked terrified. He continued lashing out, hoping that at least one attack would connect, to at least distract his opponent. But it was all in vain. He tried to run, a futile effort. He felt himself encased in Twilight's magic. Suddenly, he was picked up and slammed headfirst into a wall. He felt his forehead get hot and sticky. He was pulled back up and slammed to the ground. His wings gave a snap. Blaze, for all of his hatred at the doctor, winced. Up he went again, and this time straight into the ceiling. For a few seconds, Twilight tossed him like a rag doll, breaking his limbs and causing him to cry in pain for mercy. But the mare wouldn't have it. She wasn't even aware. Until a hoof came roughly down on her shoulder. "Hey, Twi!" Blaze called. "I think you're forgetting something." Then reality crashed through Twilight's rage. Spike was in trouble. She dropped the Pegasus, moaning and bleeding, and ran for the machine. She immediately took hold of the orb Spike was in, and used her magic to shatter the glass. The red substance flooded the floor they were standing on. The Spike flopped lifelessly in front of Twilight. He hardly resembled a dragon anymore. He looked like a large mess of unfocused unicorn magic, which for all intents and purposes was what he was now. The form shifted and cried. It still sounded like her son. She ran up to him and kneeled down to gather her son in his hooves, caring not that he was now painful to the touch. Even as the magic stung her fur, she tightened her grip. "Spike! Wake up, Spike! Spike!" She shouted to Spike, but no answer came from him. She started tearing and sobbing into his shoulders, cradling him. "Listen, you need to focus. Try and pull yourself together. Spike! 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 And if you ever do this something so stupid again, you are going to drill, and drill for days! You got it!" Delight was a typical mother whining. But to Scootaloo, Pinkie, and Fluttershy, it was downright surreal. Seeing the brass and immature Pegasus act like a worried mother was a level of strangeness that even Discord would be pressed atop. "Well?" Scootaloo stopped. "Yes, Rainbow Dash," she said, actually feeling guilty, but at the same time happy. She had always wondered what it would feel like to have a parent that cared. And here it was. "Now, I want you and Light to stay close to Fluttershy and Pinkie, okay?" She ordered the two foals as both nodded their heads slowly. "I need to take care of Bloodwing before he does something to Twilight and Spike and—" She stopped abruptly as she saw Scootaloo tearing in front of her. Rainbow rubbed her hoof behind her head as she came closer to Scootaloo's body. "Hey, kid, I didn't mean to yell at you like that. Just that I was—" Scootaloo jumped at the surprised Rainbow and held on to her as she was sobbing into her shoulders. Her crying was as muffled as her tiny head was deep in the shoulders of Rainbow. She held tighter than the Cyan Mare's body as she released all the tears she could. Rainbow looked at Fluttershy and Pinkie with concern as she held on to Scootaloo's small frame gently and firmly. "Not real." Rainbow's ears perked as she heard Scootaloo's words from her shoulder. She leaned her head closer to the filly to hear her properly. "What's wrong, Scootaloo?" "I'm not real," she answered Rainbow Dash as she slowly lifted her head to reveal her crying eyes. "What?" Rainbow asked her as she tilted her head in confusion at the filly's statement. "I'm not real! I'm just a freak! I'm not a real pony!" she yelled out to Rainbow as she cried out some more. "I'm just some lab test got wrong! I'm not even supposed to exist!" Rainbow decided to tighten her hold on Scootaloo and drape her wings over the filly's shaking frame. "Kid, what happened to you? You knew you were made by Bloodwing back in Ponyville." "No, I I always thought I was born once. Bloodwing did something to me so I couldn't remember." Tears began to well up. I'm not real." There was silence. Then Rainbow Dash carefully kissed the child on the top of the head. "Feel that?" Scootaloo looked at the elder mare, confused. "Yes." "And I can feel you. I can have a conversation with you. I've spent time with you since you came to Ponyville. Don't tell me I imagined all that. You didn't. That's because you're real. You exist. Who cares if you were born or came out some tube? But no more of that. I'm not going to raise any pony who just dumps it on themselves, especially for something so trivial. You're a cool kid. That's why I like you. And I'm not going to let you keep this up. Promise?" Rainbow Dash sighed. "Look, kid, we can talk more about this once we're out of here. Right now, Bloodwing and his goon squad can still be fighting. We can't afford to wait on that. I promise, tonight, we'll talk more about what's bothering you. Until then, I need you to be strong for me. Okay?" "Okay." "Good. Now stay with Pinkie and Fluttershy. I'm going to go up and—" Then Dash was struck. Yellow had somehow managed to pull one hoof out of the rubber gunk and used it to get a clean hit on the Cyan Pegasus. Seeing this, Pinkie jumped and lunged for her party can, but Yellow anticipated this. "No, not this time," she sneered, striking the earth pony to the chest. At this point, she got both her hooves free. "When I get out, I'm going to—" Rainbow lunged at her, but she fired again and again. Rainbow dodged, but in the close quarters, Yellow inevitably hit her. Unfortunately, she also hit some of the equipment too. Several of the tanks were destroyed, with the experiments mutilated. When Yellow's reckless firing shot in the tanks, A whistling sound emitted from it, releasing a gas that soon filled the room. Pinky sniffed the gas carefully as she closed her eyes to concentrate. When the shot opened fast, it turned to Rainbow and Fluttershy. "We gotta get out of here! Now!" She panicked and took hold of Light, galloping out of the lab fast. Fluttershy followed suit, with Rainbow flying out fast and Scootaloo holding close to her. Yellow growled at the fleeing ponies. "Come back here, you!" She shouted as she saw another lightning bolt at them. This would be the final mistake of her existence. As the lightning lit up the gas in the room, an explosion followed with Yellow caught in the blade radius. Everything that was in the lab was reduced to ash thanks to the flames. The shockwave of the blast hit the three mares, as all three of them flew across the hall, Pinky holding onto Light and Dash doing the same for Scootaloo. When the hallway was silent, the group lifted themselves from the ground and looked back at what was the lab. All three were now at a loss of breath, save for the two foals who looked at each other before looking up to their elders. "You think she's gone?" Scootaloo asked Rainbow as he let go of the cyan mare and stood on her four hooves again. Rainbow dusted herself off and ruffled her feathers as she looked at Scootaloo. "She won't be bothering us anymore," she said to Scootaloo as she looked back to the others. "Every pony okay there?" she asked the others as they got to their hooves. "I'm okay," Fluttershy answered Rainbow softly, though she felt her hoof was slightly sore from the experience. She did not want to worry her friend anymore. "We're okay here," Pinky merely answered Rainbow as she held out Light. "Are you okay though, Lighty?" she asked the White Pegasus. Light was flushed slightly. "Lighty?" He asked her and saw her nodding fast now. "I'm okay, thanks, miss," he answered her and turned to Rainbow. "What about your friend, though? Miss Twilight?" Almost on cue, a tremor shook the ponies as they looked to where the disturbance was coming from, and all of them looked terrified at what might have caused it. Twilight kept calling Spike's name, despite how futile it seemed. The dragon wouldn't respond. Shining Armor began. "Let's get out of here. We could take Spike to a hospital, or to the princess, and see if we could do anything for him." Hiccuping, she nodded. She placed Spike onto her back and began to sprint for the outside. "Meanwhile, I could call a team to arrest this piece of—" What the... Bloodwing wasn't there anymore. "What? How? He must have had every bone in his body broken! Look, he left us a trail!" Elzak pointed out. Indeed, Bloodwing had left a bright red streak on his floor as he crawled away. Shiny simply missed it in surprise. "Well, he's not getting away from me!" the captain said sternly. He began following the trail, Applejack, Rarity, and Blaze following right behind him. "Oh, I do hope this comes to an end soon," Rarity moaned, careful to not accidentally step on the blood. "Relax, this fellow was given a real beatdown. What could he—" "No!" Blaze's cry made the others jump. It was justified. Bloodwing, indeed battered, was just behind his machine, standing on a strange platform. It stood under a metal top that connected to the machine that had held Spike earlier. A glass orb was beginning to close around him. "No!" Blaze flew around the container, but he was too late. He snapped at that, causing the Pegasus to smash against the glass. Desperately, he pounded against it. "Help me break this before—" Then, Bloodwing turned it on. From the top, Spike's energy shot down and into the Mad Doctor, causing him to cry in pain. He twisted and contorted, but through the pain came laughter. Laughter that just got bigger as the changes happened. His bones reset, healing in a clip. His wings grew longer and more elegant. His legs longer, thicker. A unicorn horn grew out of his head. His mane turned into fire, dancing. He grew bigger and bigger. "Every pony, get out!" Blaze told the others as he saw the metamorphosis taking place. But before any pony could react, the orb shattered. Bloodwing rose from the shattered glass, opened his eyes slowly, showing only red. He then observed himself thoroughly and began to chuckle softly. The chuckle turned into maniacal laughter, as he was literally prancing around the spot in merriment of what had happened. "I did it! I finally ascended!" he exclaimed as he opened his wings wide. hovered himself on the ground, and looked down upon the crowd of bewildered ponies. His gaze fell upon Black, who woke up a rope binding and looked confused for a brief moment before looking up to him. "You've done it, boss! You've done it!" Budwig just waved us with a smile smugly. "Indeed so, my little Black." Black jumped around, trying to get closer to the group, as their gaze was only upon Bloodwing. "Right! Now get me out of this thing!" Budwing's merriment turned grim as he looked down at Black. "I think not." "What?" Budwing closed his eyes as he flew higher. "You have done me a great service, my boy, but your usefulness has come to an end." He raised his hoof, lifting Black from the ground and bringing him closer to him. "Goodbye." He brought his hoof higher as Black rose higher too. "Why, you little rat buck!" Black's words stopped abruptly, and the others below him gasped at what was happening. "It's in the name of all things sacred!" It looked like the life was being sucked out of the sadistic alicorn. He shriveled up, his skin wrinkling and frame becoming thinner. A wisp of air as he leapt to him and flew into Bloodwing, causing him to moan in pleasure. Finally, it ceased, and Black was tossed to the ground, lifeless. "Well, that was fun." Bloodwing smiled, licking his lips. "Now, let's see what this form can really do." Then he summoned all the energy he could do in one deafening explosion. Chapter 14. Twilight was racing through the streets at a speed that could rival that of a wonderbolt. The life of her son was slipping, thanks to a psychotic scientist. As he galloped through the streets of Canterlot, she was met with the gathering of pony crowds who were out enjoying their early evening recreation. "Out of my way!" She yelled at the crowd as she used her magic to push them aside forcefully. She bit her lip as she ran faster than she had ever had in her life, Spike being held onto her with her magic. She reached the castle gates, slowing down her pace as she tried to catch her breath. The gatekeepers, who did not immediately recognize her, raised their wings, sharp and fierce like the spears they had on standby. The guard on his right cleared his throat as he began to speak in a gruff voice. "Halt! Visitors are not permitted at this time, miss! Just open the gate before I make you!" Twilight threatened the guards as he began to charge her horn. The other guard glared at her weirdly. "Miss, threatening the goddess is a fear crime, when punishable by Twilight Sparkle." The guards turned sharply behind him as they located the source of the pony yelling out to them. The breath hit slightly as they looked up and saw who was approaching them fast. Princess Luna came gliding to the front gate when she immediately saw her sister's pupil running drastically to the palace from her telescope. "Stand down, guards! This here is the Lady Twilight Sparkle, a personal friend of my sister and I!" She used her famous Canterlot voice to let the words sink into the guards and others around her. Once the guards made way for Twilight, Luna approached her and looked with concern to the unicorn's watery eyes. "My dear friend, what has transpired?" She asked softly to Twilight, failing to notice Spike on Twilight's back. Twilight sniffed as she began to sob. "Please! I need you and Princess Celestia to save my baby!" she said in a howled voice as she pointed to her back, where the dragon was lying lifelessly. Luna was shocked by this and placed a hoof on her mouth, where her irises were dilating to the size of plates. "Oh my goodness! What happened to the poor boy?" she asked Twilight, putting a hoof on the unicorn's shoulder to help ease her sinking form. Bloodwing, he tried to..." She tried to finish, but was overcome by sadness. She bowed her head low as more tears were escaping from her eyes, until she felt a gentle hoof on her shoulder, looked up to see Luna, giving a reassuring soft smile before she turned to the guards. "Guards! Escort Twilight Sparkle to the hospital wing with all haste!" she ordered sternly, seeing her guards give her a sharp salute as she walked to Twilight's side. She lifted up Twilight's head, with her hoof under the unicorn's chin. "Worry not, Twilight. We will..." An explosion rocked Canterlot. The princess looked up sharply and narrowed her eyes as though they were binoculars. She let out a soft gasp that soon turned to a scowl. "Inform my sister of this at once!" She ordered the guards again, and saw both of them galloping toward the palace with Twilight in tow. Luna spread her wings and took to the skies. Bloodwing flew high, up over the city of Canterlot, surveying the area. "It looks good. You'll have to get rid of most of the shopping center. No need for such frivolities, but I could make a good capital city." "Bloodwing!" So he turned to face the two princesses flying toward him at top speeds. Both princesses' faces showed sort of livid, especially Luna's, who viewed the pony before them with nothing but contempt. "Ah, Celestia, good to see you again." "Bloodwing." She answered in a tone that suggested seeing some pony for the first time in a while. "You've changed, I've seen." "Indeed I have," the scientist agreed. "It took over a decade, but it would have taken half the time if you hadn't decided to be difficult." "You are a sick pony!" Luna spat. "You know your crimes well. You have done horrible things, all in the name of your foolish experiments." "Foolish? Hardly. I'm gifting ponies with immortality. Those that deserve it, at least. What have you done in that area?" "Nothing. Because I am not cruel enough to curse any pony with immortality. It's—" "Oh, save it!" Bloodwing sneered. "An excuse you keep using to keep your power all to yourself. I refuse to believe it." "It matters not," Luna said bluntly. "We will defeat you either way." She didn't wait for an answer. She fired first immediately. "Everybody okay back there?" Shining Armor shouted out at the others as his shield was being expanded and used to plow the debris away from them. Once the shield was down, the area had a lingering dust floating in it, and the lab was in ruins. Blaze shook his head, clearing the dizziness that was building up. "We're all good," he replied, looking up to the skies to see Bloodwing, "but we better deal with them before more ponies get involved," he said sternly as he looked out to the starry skies that was now visible thanks to Bloodwing destroying the lab. Applejack looked at him. "Blaze, I think y'all need to tell us what's going on here," she told him as he looked down with deep in the eyes to see the whole truth and nothing but the truth. "What Bloodwing did was just— Anybody here?" Dash flew into the now demolished room and looked around her before she saw 4 ponies in a clearing up ahead. She flew to them fast and landed before Shining. "What in Tartarus happened here, Shining? And where's Twilight?" she asked him loudly as she was looking around her to view more of the destruction. "Bloodwing happened," Shining answered her deadpan, with a serious expression that soon molded into one of sorrow. "And Twilight left. Because of Spike, he—" "What? What happened to Spike?" Before Shining could answer her, 4 more ponies came rushing to them. They turned to see the new group and were surprised it was accompanying Pinkie and Fluttershy. Applejack looked down at the Orph's village before her. "Scootaloo, what in tarnation are you doing here?" She questioned her with a stern tone as Scootaloo backed away slowly, Rainbow coming in between her and Applejack. "Oh, give her a break, will ya?" she told her friend as she was glaring at the farm pony before softening her expression. "I'll explain what happened later. Right?" Blaze came rushing to his little brother and was both shocked and angry to see him at the one place he did not want him to return to. "I thought I told you to stay with Scootaloo." "Well, technically—" "Don't give me that!" the older Pegasus snapped. "After all these years, you were finally saved, and you went right back into where I saved you from." Light stuttered. He was beginning to cry. Blaze took a deep breath. "Look, we got better things to worry right about now." He turned his attention back onto the other adults. "We need to go after Bloodwing." "Are you mad?" Rarity exclaimed. "He's an Alcorn now." "Who doesn't know how to use his abilities yet," Blaze pointed out, "and I want to keep it that way. We need to take him down now." "I agree," Dash chimed in. "As long as he's still out there, Caroline's going to be in trouble." Shining nodded. "We're never going to have better odds. All right, then. You, Blaze, and Fluttershy fly off after him. The rest of us will get back to the palace. We'll need the elements of harmony. They can help."
Maybe it's better that I stay with the—"
Before Fluttershy began nervously, before Dash pulled her toward the ceiling. "We'll need all the extra eyes we can to find him. He might be a million miles away." A large flash of flight lit up the sky. "Lion Sykes! We better hurry!" Applejack told the others before more flashes of light began to show. Shining Armor decided to create a shortcut. His horn glowed sharply before he fired its magic to the wall, blowing it up and creating a new passage for them. The building was around them was starting to quake, the roof giving in. "Come on! Move! Move!" He ordered the ponies as they made quick escape from the building that was now destroyed for good. The ponies stopped for a brief moment to catch their breath. "And here, I thought I was reckless," Blaze noted loudly. "You are one crazy jackass! No offense, none taken." Shining rolled his eyes to the statement. "Spend a week with Twilight, and you'll know what crazy is," he said to Blaze, noticing the mayor's giving him a cold eye. If you people have read the other two stories that come up in this series, irony. Anyway, we need to get to the castle and deal with Bloodwing, he said to the others as they made their way to where the battle was commencing. Luna and Celestia encircled Bloodwing in the air, never taking their eyes off of him. He merely smiled at their actions, and decided that his eyes were on Celestia's. Luna took the chance, and fired at him with her magic. He looked behind him, and flew quickly out of his path, retorting with a shot of blood magic at her. The magic, however, hit a shield Luna emitted, and she fired once again at the mad pony. Celestia took this chance to use a bit of magic of her own, sending torrents of magic to Bloodwing. She tried to lure him away, but without avail. He merely dodged the magic and responded using his own against her. She was, however, also used her magic to form a protective layer around her. Oddly, she felt weak and started sweating from the magic she was using. She looked at her sister Luna, who was also showing visible signs of fatigue, barely able to muster enough magic to repel the villain before them. How does it feel to be outclassed, you old hags? Bloodwing mockingly asked the princesses, seeing as he now had the advantage. Celestia only prayed that Shining Armor was still alive and able to put a shield up. Bloodwing shot at Luna for another attack. Expecting an energy beam, the princess put up a shield. However, it couldn't defend her from what came next. The mad doctor stopped just inches from her, and that seemed that. He seemingly did nothing at all. Yet Luna felt cold, like the life was draining out of her. Not since the nightmare touched her had her whole soul felt so dark. And then it was over. The feeling left, replaced by severe dizziness. Bloodwing struck her with a hoof, testing his new earth pony strength. She flew toward the ground. Celestia's eyes widened, seeing her sister fall, and glowered at Bloodwing, firing more energy beams at Bloodwing, which, unfortunately, missed. She flew in closer to her target, wanting to end this once and for all. When she was close enough, she used her horn to cast a finishing spell. However, Celestia felt the same cold feeling her sister had, and just as before, it was over quickly, allowing Bloodwing a chance to hit her with an energy blast. Bloodwing chuckled as Celestia spun out. This is what Equestria had to offer? The ponies will welcome me as a... And then he was hit underneath by a sonic rain boom. He flew backwards as having the air knocked out of him, but it was the surprise that crippled him more effectively. Soon, he regained his bearings, flipped himself over. Rainbow Dash, surprised by the sudden movement, made the mistake of slowing down. She was instantly in Bloodwing's magical grip. Don't you know when to ever give up? He asked her blankly as he drew closer to him. Rainbow Dash smirked at the stallion. Not on your life, I don't! She then answered him as he spat on him, hitting his eye and seeing him flinch slightly, though not releasing the grip from her. Bloodwing wiped the saliva from his eyes and glared at Rainbow, seeing her snicker in place. He snickered himself, silently seeing the mare before her. Let's see how much you have left in you, sorry. He proceeded to come closer to her, but Rainbow zoomed away from him until she came back fast and slammed both of her hind legs against his chest, knocking the air out of him, just long enough for Dash to fly further away. You little wench! He growled at her, seeing her prepared to do another sonic rainbow on him. However, Bloodwing saw through this and prepared his magic, firing a beam of intense magic at Rainbow. The magic was only able to hit her wing, though, but was enough to send her falling to the ground at a speed that would be fatal to any Pegasus. As Rainbow fell, she closed her eyes as the ground came nearer to her. But the wind that was hitting her face from the fall stopped, and so did she. She then felt herself floating upwards and feared for the worst. She hesitantly opened her eyes, but was met with the smiling face of her friend Fluttershy. Fluttershy let go of her, seeing how Dash was able to gain momentum again.
Are you alright?
She asked her slightly. Rainbow smiled broadly at Fluttershy. Thanks to you, I am. One more second, and I would have been a pancake thanks to that mad clown, she told Fluttershy, looking back at Bloodwing, who seemed not to notice the two of them below as he was advancing to the castle. Blaze came flying from behind and stopped just behind the two mares who turned to face him. You okay?
Oh, yes, but I'm worried for the princesses. What if they...
Fluttershy's words were interrupted as he heard the sound of magic exploding and saw the princesses using their magic against Bloodwing. Magic intended only for the foulest of enemies. Celestia moved back to lock horns with him, but was stopped when she realized that would likely give Bloodwing an opening to use his mysterious spell. opting instead to keep her distance and fire another attack. As he dodged, Luna flew towards the three Pegasi. You three! Is shining armor still active? He is! He's on his way to the palace of the elements of... No! Luna said suddenly. The elements are not a generic weapon. They only nullify a dark and chaotic magic. Bloodwing is using neither.
Then, what do we do?
Return to the palace and tell Shining Armor to put his shield up around all the Catalot. But, Rainbow Dash stuttered, you'll be trapped outside! Better than he be allowed to harm innocents. Fear not. We have battled Discord at full power, and we have defeated Tyrak. This foe would be trivial. But, Rainbow Dash began, only for Blaze to pull her foreleg. You heard her, let's go! Rainbow Dash sighed, baying, flying off with her other two comrades in tow. Luna returned to join the battle, just in time for Bloodwing to hit her with his mysterious spell again. Nearly as oblivious to the battle in the skies, Twilight cried at her son's bedside. She held his one claw in her hoof firmly, feeling it becoming colder by the second. Her lips quivered as she looked down at her boy's body. Please, Spike! She begged, as if her previous beginnings had always failed to work because she simply wasn't desperate enough. You had to fight it! Don't leave me! Please.
I'm sorry, Lady Sparkle,
the doctor noted, a clipboard laying in front of him.
but he's lost too much energy to sustain himself.
Twilight shook her head in denial as more tears were flowing from her eyes.
No! There has to be something you can do.
She exclaimed to the doctor as he clinged onto his jacket. The doctor sighed as he placed a hood on her shoulder.
Miss Sparkle, you must understand.
The doors of the room slammed open, and Shining Armor came rushing through, carrying a box of some sort with him. He spotted his sister with the doctor and galloped toward her, with the box following him as it was coated in his magic.
Twilight, we got a problem! Bloodwing is on his way in!
Bloodwing! Twilight immediately went to her brother's side as the words were spoken. Her sadness turned into fury by the pony who did this to her son and to others.
Where is he?
She asked her brother as the anger was building up in her. Shining stared at his sister. Twilight, could you not look at me like that? He asked her politely, seeing his sister calm down to see a face that belonged only to the very depressed.
He's fighting the princesses right now, but I think he may be more trouble than we anticipated.
What do you mean?
Shining continued as he lowered his case to his sister.
I saw him suck the magic out of his subordinate, getting stronger from that. I'm not sure the princesses can defeat him alone, but I do believe that...
Twilight's eyes simmered for a moment as she connected the dots in her mind.
I got it!
She said to her brother as she took the case and opened them to reveal the elements of harmony. She placed her tiara, the element of magic, on her head, and turned her around to face Spike's body. Her eyes glistened in tears just by seeing her boy like this, but she had to be strong for what was coming next. She placed her hoof on his cheek, ignoring the burning feeling that was building up from contact.
Mommy will be right back, Spike, okay? Just be strong for me, please.
She asked him kindly, not expecting an answer and turning back to Shining. Let's go.
Right!
Both ponies exited the room and made their way outside into the clearing, seeing Rainbow Dash approaching them with Blaze and Fluttershy.
Shining! Princess Luna said you gotta put up your shield over the city!
Rainbow Dash told him as they landed in front of the unicorn.
On it!
Shining answered as he concentrated his magic, shooting a beam of light that soon shot up skywards. The tip of the beam then spread to form a shield that reached all over the city of Canterlot. When the shield was up, Shining's horns started glowing, and he was slightly dizzy from the excess use of magic. By the time he recovered, Twilight and her friends were already several feet away, with only Blaze left behind.
Where are they going?
Blaze shrugged.
Twilight said she had a plan. She also said we needed to stay behind.
If she fails. He drifted off, not even wanting to think of that possibility.
So, where's Light?
He's in the palace, safe and sound. Well, not exactly.
We better put in evacuation procedures. You need to fly up to the princesses and warn them about Bloodwing's power.
I'm not even sure that they're aware of it. Blaze paused.
If he absorbs all the princesses' energy, we're doomed.
I'm going to pause here and just say, am I the only one who's getting a weird sense of deja vu here? I mean, bad guy who can absorb magic is currently been nerfed with plenty of alicorn power, and Twilight and the others facing off against him. I'm just saying, I'm getting this strange sense of deja vu. I don't know why. Celestia remembered the last time she was this tired. Their battle with Discord, several millennia earlier, had been taxing. That wasn't surprising, given that he was the embodiment of chaos. But Bloodwing was just a normal pony. The sisters were stunned at a pony before them, seeing as he held his own against them. Celestia decided to fly in closer to Bloodwing, reading her magic. Just as she was ready, she felt drained and her magic was cut off. She flew backwards and shot magic at him several times along with her sister. But all the spells were evaded almost too easily. Luna, being somewhat more devious in her tactics, managed to clip Bloodwing. The scientist yelled and tried to float on his damaged wing, allowing the Princess of the Night to strike him in the chest. He went flying to the crowd. That was our most powerful attack, and it won't keep him down for long. How is he so strong, so skilled? And why are we so weak? Celestia moaned. I had forgotten what physical exhaustion was like. Bloodwing shot up from the ground, coughing as he regained his breath. He looked up into the sky to the princesses flying before him. Let me show you what death feels like, he said as he came flying towards the princesses, as he sent a barrage of magic in his direction, only for him to dodge all the attacks. You're mine, Celeste! A streak of flame came crashing into him, as he flew backwards from the force that hit him. He let out a cry of agony as his body was slightly burned from the attack. When Bloodwing looked to the princesses, he saw Blaze floating in front of him. What surprised him for a moment was the glare in Blaze's eyes. Princesses, with all due respect, I need you to return to the castle at once, he told Princess Celestia and Luna, as he looked behind his shoulders to meet their eyes. Who are you? Luna asked him curiously as he looked at the stallion's eyes that showed no fear for what he was facing against. Blaze smirked at the question given to him. My name is Blaze. Blaze Dream. Got it memorized? He asked her as he pointed a hoof to her head. Princess Celestia looked at him impassively at first, before her eyes blinked to show compassion to the stallion who was literally offering himself to a beast for them to escape. You have our greatest gratitude, Blaze. Good luck, she told him as she and Luna made their way back to the palace. Bloodwing laughed at what was happening before them. You really think you could defeat me, Red? He asked him mockingly as he smiled smugly at the red Pegasus. Blaze snorted and looked back at Bloodwing with burning eyes. Nah, but I could beat you up enough for the girls to fancy you off. You pissed off the wrong ponies today, including me, he told Bloodwing as his wings were now blazing in the night skies. Huh! Let's see you fight against me, Red. You bucking failure of a... Blaze came tackling toward Bloodwing as they both were using their hooves to inflict damage on the other. The name's Blaze, and I'll brand it onto your corpse! He shouted out as he covered himself in flames, each punch he performed creating an explosion in the skies as they were fighting. Again, don't know why I'm having that flashback. Princess Celestia and Luna landed by the castle's ground, just as the fight between Blaze and Bloodwing became dangerous. The princesses heard the sound of explosions behind them, and turned to see the fiery Pegasus give his all against the triangle mad pony. Tia! We have to help him! Luna urged her sister, as he turned to face her with pleading eyes. I know, Lulu, Celestia responded to her sister, as her eyes were showing worry for the stallion defending the city now. We need... Princess! Celestia's ears perked, as he turned sharply to face Twilight Sparkle and her friends, who have donned the elements of harmony. Princess, what's going on? She asked her mentor as she saw both princesses looking exhausted. The one known as Blaze has relieved us of our battle, Luna answered, looking to the sky. Who is he? And what was Bloodwing doing to us? That Pegasus was one of Bloodwing's old slaves. Celestia can fill you in later, Twilight explained hastily. As for what happened, he could suck the energy out of ponies, Twilight explained. You two must be feeling weak. Celestia watched the battle again. How are we going to stop this? I have an idea, Twilight said. Celestia finally noticed the elements. Twilight, no. That won't work. Twilight held up a hoof. I'm aware, Princess. Please, let me try this. Celestia wanted to forbid her from doing so, but she knew her better. Very well, my most faithful student. Go on, and good luck. She looked back into the sky, and her eyes widened again. What the... The others looked up as well. What the fuck? Rainbow Dash screamed in terror. Scootaloo was flying toward Bloodwing. Bloodwing had caught Blaze by now. I'm kind of glad you survived this long, Red. I was hoping to get the energy out of you. His horn glowed, and then Scootaloo hit him from beneath, his horn puncturing the stomach. Bloodwing snarled in pain and surprise, releasing his hold on Blaze. Scootaloo pulled her horn out, and then began bombarding the doctor with every attack she could throw. He was pushed back, still more out of surprise than any real damage. Bloodwing decided to grab hold of Scootaloo, using his magic to keep her in place. You little trap! How dare you attack your creator! He shouted at her as he brought her closer to him and sucked her energy out. Just as she was starting to lose consciousness, Bloodwing punched him hard on the muzzle before grabbing her again. Now, go ahead and rot. He dropped her from her grip and saw her plummeting to the ground below. Kid! Blaze shouted out to her, and just as he was about to come to her rescue, he was stopped by Bloodwing, who used his magic to try to grab Blaze, but wasn't able to hold him in place. Blaze looked him to see Bloodwing charge our arm. Always mind your surroundings. Bloodwing shouted at Blaze as they continued to fight, though Bloodwing noticed the attention of Blaze was dwindling as Scootaloo fell to her death. Scootaloo! Rainbow Dash yelled out to her just as he was about to fly to her, but was beaten by a little white streak that reached the falling filly. Rainbow's eyes widened in surprise when she saw light carrying Scootaloo, Briny style, and flowing downward towards the others before them. Scootaloo's eyes opened up as she saw light looking down at her with her relieved eyes. She then noticed the resistance he was in, and her face was becoming redder by the moment. Are you okay, Scootaloo? He asked her as she was back on her hooves, but the pain in her head still throbbed endless as she flinched. She rubbed her head gently and felt a bloody spot on her head that strangely caught itself rather fast by any pony standards. I'm fine. It's just... Scootaloo! Scootaloo turned and see Rainbow Dash coming before them. She was not placed. What in the name of Equestria were you thinking of charging in like that? She asked Scootaloo crudely as both foals were looking to the ground guiltily. I just wanted to help Blaze, that's all. I was just so angry with Bloodwing. I didn't know why I was... She said as she was sniffing a few tears that were building up, but felt a gentle hoof on her head. She looked up to see Rainbow look at her with a tender smile. You've done enough for now. Let us take care of the rest, okay? She asked Scootaloo and saw both foals nod at her. At the moment, the limp form of Blaze crashed right into Rainbow Dash, sending both Pegasi crashing to the ground. Looking in terror, the poles gave a terrifying squeak. Bloodwing flew up to him. Red's dead, he said simply in a cold voice. Light needed no further incentive to flee, but he never got the chance. As soon as he turned around, a blast of magic hit his back, sending him spiraling. As he fell, Bloodwing grabbed him, just long enough to pull Scootaloo from his grasp. No longer having any use for the foal, he dropped him, concentrating solely on his creation. Little Subject 10, you have something that belongs to me, and since there aren't any more powerful ponies around... Scootaloo screamed in terror as he was being drawn nearer to him. And then, a sonic rainbow hit Bloodwing, right in his damaged gut. Screaming in pain, he dropped Scootaloo, who was caught by a royal guard. Pardon me, miss. I have instructions from Lady Rainbow Dash to escort you home. But Light! Like Homerite called him. Now come on! A few feet away, Dash broke off from Bloodwing, allowing the alicorn to recover. Arrogantly, the Cyan Pegasus turned and wiggled her rump out. All that experimentation, and you still can't avoid a sonic rainbow? Watch it! He began, but he noticed different about his opponent. The element of loyalty was draped around her neck. Tink! Rainbow Dash noticed the gaze, and tapped the jewelry for emphasis. You like it? One of the most powerful artifacts in Equestria. It's mine, not yours. Bloodwing smirked. Not for long. He glanced at her, but she was already off, shouting taunts. Bloodwing followed, confident. You sure about this, try? Not entirely, she admitted, balancing the element of magic on her head. But what if you're wrong about this? Then I'll probably go down in history as the idiot who let Bloodwing win. She noticed Rainbow Dash coming. There they are, everybody! Elements ready! Okay, I've got a few song selections for this final fight here. There's the English mix of Sailor Moon that combines both the opening Moonlight Destiny in the dub. There's Guardians United from the Witch soundtrack. Or you could play Aviator's Heroes. One of those would be perfectly fine for this situation. The other four bears got persistent as their friend flew toward him. Bloodwing right behind her. It's showtime! Rainbow yelled out to her friends, and her necklace began to glow brightly along with the others. Rainbow and the other girls were soon lifted from the ground, as their elements were glowing in sync. Each element started to shoot magic randomly at Bloodwing, though all of them narrowly missed him. The mayor's eyes glowed white as all of them grinned, and a beam of pure magic shot from all the elements at once. The beam had the similarities of a rainbow that shined after the end of a raging storm. The beam flew in an arc to Bloodwing and hit him hard with full impact. Bloodwing, however, just stood there and became all giddy. So much power! Yes! He said as he stood and reached out his hose through the air as he was begging for more of the magic. Twa! It ain't working! We need to! Trust me on this one! Twilight replied hastily to Applejack as he concentrated on Bloodwing, seeing him act so arrogant with what he was facing. Bloodwing, you wanted more power? Well, you got it! She yelled out as the magic intensified. Bloodwing's eyes suddenly popped open as he realized what was happening. He tried to step to the side, but Twilight, seeing this, used her magic to hold him where he was. If he was thinking clearly, he might have easily gotten out. But panic is not a healthy emotion. Bloodwing yelled in pain as he stared at the heart of his body that started to crack. With each crack showing on his body, magic seeped out of him uncontrollably. What? He shouted out as he looked over his hooves that started to disintegrate. Magic in him acting out of an uncontrollable flame inside a furnace. Yes! What? I'm really glad that this son of a gun's dying. No! No! This is not how it was supposed to be! He asked in a panicked tone, and every inch of his body slowly disappearing. This is not what was supposed to happen! He yelled out as all of the magic burst into him. Followed shortly by his body being reduced to ash. Streaks of magic flew out in all different directions. The elements stopped, and the threat known as Bloodwing was finally dealt with. Rainbow just stared blankly at the spot where Bloodwing was before his demise. How did you know it would work, Twilight? Twilight just shrugged as she took off her tiara. I noticed how he was sucking all the magic out of the princesses. Then I remembered how Blue exploded when he used too much energy. I realized Bloodwing's magic must be flawed, so I figured if he stored too much, he couldn't contain it. Pinkie Pie looked at Twilight and nodded in agreement. Oh, like when you blow too much air into a balloon and it goes pop! She said as he made a pop sound with her mouth. Twilight just shook her head with a half smile. Yes, Pinkie, it's like that, she said to the pink pony as he took their respective elements. Now that the energy he stole has nowhere to go, it's a return to the proper ponies. Inside Canterlot Castle, two large strings of energy flew back into the bodies of Princess Celestia and Luna. Another flew into Blaze, being carried by two royal guards. The seemingly dead Pegasus sat up. Another flew into the infirmary, and it still into the formless body of Spike. No noticeable changes. And the final flew into the ruins of Bloodwing's lab. Black crawled out of the wreckage. He might have lost, but he still lived, and he was still an Alcorn. He slipped away, and he recovered, and he returned to... At that point, he found several royal guards surrounding him. By order of royal family, you are under arrest. Come quietly, or will be authorized to use lethal force. Black groaned, planting his face on the ground. Today was not his day. Rainbow smiled triumphantly as he flew above the others. We showed them, didn't we, girls? She couldn't finish as he was tackled into the air by an orange filly. You did it! She squealed happily. Rainbow Dash hugged her back. Yeah, we did it. Bloodwing's gone, for good this time. He won't hurt you again. Hey, Twilight? Applejack suddenly called. Rainbow Dash looked up to see her friend was sprinting back to the castle. Where are y'all going? It was Rarity that answered, once the realization hit her. Spike! With that, the whole group forgot about celebration. There might not be a happy ending for some.